first thing I want to do is get started with a quick question for you guys. And what I want to know is this: where did the majority of your last 5 closings come from? So again, we can just drop that in the chat there. So where did the majority of your last 5 closings come from? So if you could drop that in the chat, just give me the, like, I don't need all the sources, but like, and by that I mean lead sources. So did you get them from farming? Did you get them from the your sphere of influence? Did you get them from open houses? Did you get them from Zillow or from Realtor.com? So where did the majority of most of your last closings come from? Maybe you door knocked, maybe you cold called, maybe you're good at for sale by owners, FSBOs, whatever it is. So drop in there. What are the majority of your agents or your business coming from? Yeah, so I see here referrals, cold prospecting, referrals, sphere of influence, referrals, 1 cold prospecting there. So man, as you can see, sphere referrals is the vast majority of people, right? And that's not uncommon. That's something that's super normal. And in fact, 63% of sellers found their agent through referral. So statistically, that's the vast majority of people are finding their agents by referral. And so my next question to you then is, how much time and money are you investing each month in generating referrals? And so that for that, I have a formal poll for you guys here. So I'm gonna start this poll, and if you can drop your answer into there on how much money are you investing in general. So I mean, like, money you're spending on whatever, this is specifically for referrals. So this could be like newsletters, this could be client parties, this could be Popeyes you're doing, this could be handwritten notes, this could be coaching on how to get more referrals, this could be, any number, any dollar, that you are spending, parties, taking people to dinner, whatever. Like, give me your where are you spending, how much time and money are you investing each month to proactively generate referrals? So pop that answer in the poll there. And all right, so we're starting to see the results come in. And so far, we're at 80% of people are between $0 and $500. 10% are between, it's varying now a little bit here, 72% are between 0 and 500, and 18% between 500 and 1,000, 8% above 1,000. So yeah, we're seeing here that most people, which is what I expected, are spending less than $500 a month on referral, while most people are actually getting their business from referral. And so I think this is a real opportunity for us to refocus our attention, our time, and our energy on the thing that's working for us. It's so easy to get distracted by the shiny object, right? Social media, I think, is the king of all shiny objects. And so how can we redeploy our focus, our energy, our money in a way that is really profitable for us, that helps us to generate more referrals? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's a good thing you're here. And before we get started, I want to let you know 3 quick things. First, this is going to be interactive and fun. I'll be asking questions, asking for comments, that kind of thing. I'll also be engaging with you guys in the chat. And so you can feel free to let me know what's going on in there. If you have questions, that kind of thing. I will have a Q&A at the end. So feel free to pop your questions in there. Just know that I won't answer them till the end, or you can hold on till the end if you'd like. And then I'm going to let you know at the end where you can find more information like this. So if you're like what I shared today and you're into it, I've got a little special offer for you at the end where you can learn even more about the topic of how to generate more business for your real estate career. So let's get started. I want to talk about my first 6 years in real estate. This is what they looked like. So I was not doing much. I was doing less than 10 deals a year for the first 6 years of my real estate career. And some of you know me and know that we saw a lot more houses now. But at the time, I mean, this was really real. The 6 years is not a small amount of time to struggle, to sort of try to figure out what's going on. But then good news, I had a baby. And this is when I had my daughter, Eden. And she is now 9 and just an amazing little girl. But as many of you probably know, as parents, that'll change some things, right? You get a little more motivated, a little more excited. You decide it's time to get going. I was working all the time and not selling very many homes. I was very distracted. Focused on the wrong stuff and just really, really unproductive. After I had Eden, though, things really changed. I mean, it got crazy. You know, this was the second 6 years of my career. Got up over 200 home sales. Last year, we did almost 500. So I show this because I think it's important to understand that I may have some talent, you know, some special thing that makes me good at this, but that's a minor part of it. I think that the majority of what helps us to be successful as real estate agents is focus on the right activities and making sure that we're not wasting lots of our time. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Not only was I'm selling all those houses, but I get to live a pretty awesome lifestyle. You know, there's my daughter now who's 9. I've got my son, Trey, and my beautiful wife, Bryn, and we get to spend time doing really awesome stuff. So I'm selling hundreds of homes a year, and I take a couple months a year off. So when the kids aren't in school, I am not working for the most part. And so I get to spend lots and lots of time with my kids. I don't work weekends. You know, I'm not answering the phone all the time. So that's not to brag. It's to say that it's possible. I think a lot of us, like my first 7 years, I was working all the time making no money. And now I work a lot less and make more money. Not that everyone wants to go sell 500 houses. Most people, sounds terrible, right? But what could we do with our lives if you had a little more focus on the things that really, really mattered, that were more productive, that made you more money, that would allow you to have more time with your family and to make some more money to go on, you know, great vacations, have great experiences, that kind of thing. That's what I'm going to talk about today. And the secret was learning the Rainmaker skills. And the one we're going to talk about today is prospecting, but we're going to talk about specifically prospecting our sphere, because as you guys all just mentioned, most of you are getting all your business from your sphere of influence. So why would we spend tons and tons of time on all these other things if what really is working? Let's start with what's working best, and then we can work on some other things. So the Rainmaker skills are really the 3 skills, the time and energy that you could spend to actually go make your cash register ring. So that's negotiating contracts, signing up buyers and sellers, so having a buyer presentation, a seller presentation, all that stuff, and then prospecting. And those 3 things, the more time you spend doing those 3 things, the more money you make. And what I learned was if I could spend tons of time on those things and as little time as possible on the other stuff that's kind of a distraction in the real estate world, then I would make a lot more money and I would have a lot more freedom in my life. And today we're going to focus specifically on prospecting. And here's the big promise. Here's what I am going to share today. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a clear path to adding 2 more escrows per month while getting back family and free time, all within 90. This does not have to take 5 years. You know, you don't have to take the slow road like I did. This can be done very quickly. So the idea here to get 2 more escrows per month while getting time back within 90 days. That's my goal for you today. You'll have a vision for how you can do this, utilizing a path that'll be fun for you, because it's not everything is fun for everybody. People have to be self-aware, right? Maybe you're not the kind of person who's going to go cold call, who's going to door knock. Okay, let's find some things that you would enjoy. And then you'll have a roadmap for creating an automated system that reliably generates referrals every month. That's what happens on my team, and we're going to talk about that today. So let's start here with the Rainmaker skills, in particular prospecting. And I like to liken it. Let me change the screen here so you guys can see this a little better at the bottom. I like to liken this to picking fruit on a tree. Let's see if I can get it. It's not on the screen in there. Well, you get the idea. So down at the bottom, there is a fruit that's labeled sphere. And what we do is we buy a ladder and we climb up to the hardest parts of the tree sometimes, and we pass by all the fruit that's just a lot easier to get. And so if we're going to talk about prospecting, because that's where it all starts, right? At the end of the day, somehow you got to talk to somebody who wants to buy or sell a house. Well, let's not get out the ladder if we don't have to. You know, if we could just pick fruit off the ground there, and the cropping isn't letting you see that there, but if we could just start with the sphere of influence, why not do that, right? And then I have my approximation of the way I think that the fruit gets harder and harder up the tree, right? So open house is a little bit harder than sphere, old leads, you got fizz books, but I don't have everything on here. But these are some general categories of where you could go out and get some business. And let's start about this intelligently. You know, let's think about this in terms of a really good focus, which would be start with whatever is easy, right? And so we're going to start with referrals. That'll be our big focus today. So if we all know that generating referrals is where we get most of our business, and we all know that really we should be doing probably more. We should be spending more time, more money investing in doing more referrals. How come we're not? Right? Because most of you said, my business is coming from referrals, but then you also said, hey, I'm not spending a lot of time and money to grow my referral business. So why is that happening? Well, it's because I think what we've done is we've positioned prospecting our sphere in a way that makes it very hard. And so I'm going to give you a story, tell you a story, an example of what happened to me. And maybe this is familiar to you. Excuse me. So I joined Brian Buffini coaching many years ago and loved it. In fact, now I live in San Diego where he lives. We have a lot of mutual friends. I've never personally met Brian, but I really respect him a ton. And he's helped a lot of agents, and he helped me a lot too. He introduced me to Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, and all these amazing people. But his system was tough for me. I had a hard time with it. His system was, one of the things he wanted you to do was go do Popeyes. And Popeyes, when you go buy a house and you let them know, here's the script that they give you. It says, I'm going to be in your area between 2 and 3, and I'd love to pop by and see how you're doing. The main problem with that for me is I didn't really want to go Popeye and see how they were doing. That's not really my personality. I'm not a Popeye kind of guy. Now, I'm sure, and I know there are a lot of people who are very successful with this technique. So I'm not bashing the technique. I'm sharing how self-awareness and positioning can really change how this can become much easier for you. So for me, it was difficult. And the ideas they had were like, hey, drop by some light bulbs or tools to use around the house or popcorn or gift gas cards or whatever. And when you went by the people's house, these would be like friends and family members, people who refer you business, clients, that kind of thing. When you went by their house, you had these little tags that would somehow tie the fact that you were coming by the house to getting referrals. Hey, here, it was like a clever, little way of on the card of saying, hey, turn these light bulbs on. And when you do, think of me and I'd love to help you with your referrals, whatever, something like that. And I did this for a while, but I hated it. And I've learned about myself, if I really hate something, I'm probably not going to keep doing it. And I decided, okay, I got to figure out something that's different, a strategy that's going to work better for me. And that you can also write handwritten notes to people. And that's a great idea, but I probably wasn't going to do a lot of that. It wasn't a good fit for me. And so I thought, okay, all right, I need to figure out a way to do this differently. It felt weird because it was weird for me. I was neither positioned as a friend or a professional. I wasn't going by to be a friend. I wasn't going by just to hang out, be a pal. And I wasn't going by purely as a professional because I had this sort of gift and it's not something like a lawyer would ever do with their clients. It just felt like a little bit in the middle for me. But then I found the 8th wonder of the world, which is positioning. And this is the core of what I'm going to talk about today, is if we can position you as a trusted advisor with your friends, family, the past clients, that kind of thing, it becomes much easier to then do the stuff that Brian Buffini talks about, which is effectively to stay in front of people, to be continually adding value to their life. That part is magic. And I believed in that. I just could not get around the weird positioning that the Popeyes and that were giving me. And so when I found the idea of how to position myself as the trusted advisor in the ways I'm going to share with you, man, that changed everything. It made my life so much easier, so much better. So that's what we're going to talk about. Here's what positioning is. Positioning is, you guys have a visceral response to what I just showed right there. You get right away what I mean by the difference between the New York Times and the Globe, right? Apparently Bush is on cocaine, Ted's 100, I don't know, Oprah's on a diet, all this stuff's happening, right? These are two of the same business. They're communicating, they're press, related businesses with very different positioning. Would you be more proud of working at the New York Times or at the Globe? Well, of course, the Times, right? Everybody would feel a lot more pride sharing with their friends and family what they do if what they do is positioned as strongly as the New York Times is in people's mind as a expert, right? And doctors are a good example of this. I mean, doctors are famously proud of sharing that they're doctors, right? In fact, you have to call them doctor. That's like their name now. And that's because that is a really strong position to take and it makes you feel good as a person. And so how can we do that as realtors? How can we be positioned really well? Well, first of all, I want to talk about building our list, right? Who are the people that we are going to position ourselves as the trusted real estate expert advisor with? Who are those people? First of all, we got to create a list. Many people don't even have this started yet. Some people maybe on the call here have already got a bunch of their list created. It doesn't matter. Either way, one of your goals as a rainmaker activity, as a prospecting activity, should be to be continually growing your list of people who know, like, and trust you as their advisor. So I'm going to give you some specific tactics, first of all, on how to grow that list. Now, if you have a CRM like Follow Up Boss or whatever it is, Infusionsoft, that kind of thing, great. If not, you could start with a spreadsheet, a Google Sheets deal or an Excel sheet, something like that. It could be very simple, but you got to build a list. That's step one. And let me talk you through how to start the list, or if you already have a list, how to grow your list. Because again, you should always have a goal every quarter of I'm going to grow it by 10%, 5%. I want my list to keep getting bigger. So here's how you do that. First of all, start with your Christmas card list. If you haven't already done that, make sure everyone on your Christmas card list is on that list. Because again, I'm going to position you in a way to where you're not going to be uncomfortable soliciting even your Christmas card list for business. For me, there is no divide between personal and business. Everybody is a client or a prospect for me. And I suggest you do it that way. Some people are uncomfortable. They don't want to mix business with pleasure. It's tough to be in real estate if you have that philosophy. I would suggest that you blur it all together. So start with your Christmas card list, then your phone book contact list. Just scroll through. Who are all the people you've called most recently, right? Just scroll up the list, add those people to, and whatever info you have. So the Christmas card list, you're going to have their address and all that. Maybe in your phone book, you don't have their physical address. That's fine. Just fill out whatever you do have. Look through your past calls, your text history, social platforms, all your past DMs. On many platforms, you can even look at the people who you interact with the most. There's a way to, on Facebook, you can do this. You can check out who are the people you've interacted with the most. Make sure those people are on the list. Email list. Who are the most? Just go through your sent folder, the people you've sent emails to recently, and trudge through that list. Now, I'm not going to add realtors to this list probably, but you should for sure be adding vendor reps, right? Title, escrow, lender partners, all that stuff. These people should be on the list, no question about it. And then, of course, past clients, your list of people you've worked with in the past, right? So some places to go and get the list and to get a starting place right there. That's where I would start. Next, I would throw a micro event. And I have set this up, and I have a full-blown template for this that I'll give you at the very end. So hang on till the end to make sure you get that template that you can copy and use for yourself. But I think client events have become, a lot of teams like mine will throw these big giant events that cost 10 grand, and they're bounce houses and all this crazy stuff. And even we're doing less of that now because the market's so much slower. We're being a little more careful with our expenses. And so we've pivoted to micro events. And let me walk you through exactly how to throw these events. So once you have your list, and I'm going to pretend you've never reached out to your sphere at all, but if you already have, that's fine, no problem. This works just as well to grow your sphere of influence, that list. Micro events do a couple things. First of all, they come from contribution. You're going to invite people to a great event. And that's great because you're adding value to their life. You're wanting to connect with them. You're wanting to have a relationship. You're asking them if they want to come to something. You're not just stopping by their house, which was to me a barrier because it felt like intrusive. And now you're saying, let's go to this other place that we all like, this restaurant that's fantastic, and we'll catch up there, right? So you're coming from contribution. You have an excuse to get everyone's missing info. So one of the scripts that I use for these events is, if I don't have their info, is, hey, I'm throwing a client appreciation event. I'm just so thankful for all my friends and family who've supported my real estate career. Or maybe you're announcing your brand new real estate career. You'd say something like that. Hey, I just got started. I joined this great team, this great brokerage. And I wanted to say thank you to all my friends and family for supporting my new career change. So I'm putting together a client appreciation event, and it'll be at happy hour. This is what I suggest, that you do a happy hour, and or you could do like a coffee hour if you want. If you're not into going to get drinks, that's fine. You could do like a coffee hour. And where should I send the invite? And that is the language that will get you their address. So if you have this list of all these people you DM'd on Instagram, but you don't have their addresses, that's how you get their address. And everyone will say, oh, here's my address. That's just less weird than, hey, I'm in real estate now and I want to send you marketing material. What's your address? This is more coming from contribution, inviting to something cool. And they'll say, oh, sure, here's my address, whatever. I've got some other scripts if you already do have their address that I'll go through in a minute. You're going to make relevant offers. I'll talk you through those offers to anybody who comes. You're going to help give them good real estate advice when they do show up to the party. And then you're not asking for anything. That's really a key part of this, is that you're not going to ask them for anything. You're offering them something. You're offering to bring them to this great party, right? So when do you do it? Well, don't overthink this. This whole thing should take you an hour, maybe 2 hours to plan. I mean, it should be that easy and very inexpensive. I'll walk you through how to do that. I'd book a time about 3 weeks out from when you start planning. So, you don't need a whole lot of time to do this. Start inviting people about 2 weeks out. Pick a time of day when you would come to the event. So if it's a happy hour, I recommend like 4 to 7 on a non-weekend night, like on a Wednesday, Tuesday, something like that, when people probably don't have plans. The point is not necessarily to get 500 people to come to this. In fact, most people are not going to come, but they'll appreciate being invited, and it's a way to grow your information you have for the people, as I just explained. But pick a day when you would come and pick a location that you would like. What makes the most sense for people to actually show up. The goal isn't to get everybody there, but if they can come, obviously that's great. You get to have one-on-one time with those people. Now, pick a place that you love and that your clients are likely to show up. Now, if you got people all over town, an hour apart, like we do, that you're just not going to get everyone. That's fine. I'd pick somewhere central and somewhere that's most likely. You can throw all your addresses that you have on your new list. You could throw that into a Google map. It's very easy to do, and it'll plot out where the people are. Maybe you pick a place that's close to where all the people live, right? And here's the thing too, is as you pick a place, don't just pick based on location. Pick a place you love and that's cool, that's fun, that people like, but that it's not so cool and hip and whatever that you have to deal with an event planner. Event planners will kill you. Now you have to spend all this extra money. They're going to make you have minimums and all this other stuff. You don't want to do that. The language for when you set up this event is to call around to places and just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm inviting some of my friends and clients to come for a quick happy hour. And I don't need like a whole thing. Just if we could set aside 4 or 5 tables in the bar area, that would be great. What's a good night for you guys in the next 2 weeks? And if they're like, no, you're going to have to talk to Susie who does the event, then just move on. Call the next place, because that's a nightmare. You want it to be really, really simple. And the way I suggest you do this is you just buy the first drink and you get little tickets on Amazon, and you bring them to the event, and you just tell the bartenders or whatever. If you do coffee, you could do the same way, right? Hey, first coffee's on me. And you give everybody a ticket and say, hey, first one's on me. When they get to the event, they can go and trade that in for their drink or whatever. And you've just got some tables set aside. I mean, really, really, really simple. That's why it doesn't take very long to plan, is because you're just planning a little get together, and the first drink's on you. And it's simple. It's inexpensive. It's a great way to get started in adding a contribution to your client's life. Next, you're going to want to invite people. So create an Evite. First of all, you'll get a lot better show up rate if you have an Evite. So create the Evite, because it's going to send reminders and all that other stuff. And then for people whose info you already have, here's the script. So let's say you already have their email, phone number, all that stuff, address. If you don't have all of that, this would be a good chance to get it. So, hey, where can I send the invite? Even though you're not snail mailing an invitation to this, you could if you wanted to, but I wouldn't spend the money. I would still get their address. Just say, hey, where can I send it? And if they say give an email, fine. Just say, hey, great. While I have you, what's your address as well? Because I might send out a snail mail invite as well, and you just grab their info. Once you've got the Evite put together, then call and use this script. Hey, I just shot over an Evite, and I've got all this in the template. The scripts and everything like that are in the template that I'll give you at the end there. I just shot over an Evite to a client appreciation event I'm having March 30th, and I'm calling to make sure you got it. That's the opener. Real simple, right? And voicemail as well. Same basic script. Then just chat. Oh, great. Okay. Hey, hope you can make it. Don't put them on the spot. Hey, can you come? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't want to, don't put them on the spot. Just make sure they got the invite. And if not, correct their information or whatever. That's okay. Great. Hey, I hope you can make it. Would love to see you. How's Frank, or how's the baby or whatever? If you know some information about them, great. Oftentimes they're going to ask about real estate. Well, how's things going? How's the market? Whatever. You can talk about the market. You just have a little quick chit chat and get off the phone. All you're doing is just an excuse to be calling all these people, right? And then send a follow-up text if you leave a voicemail. Hey, I just dropped a quick invite in your voicemail. I hope you can make it. So this, you already have their info. You don't necessarily care a whole lot if they call you back. It's more about having a touch point and letting them know, hey, I sent you this invite. I hope you can make it. So the whole goal there is to make a connection, not necessarily even to get them in to come to the thing, just to make sure you have the right data and to make a simple connection. Now, if you don't have their info, your goal is to get the info. So you do want to call back in this scenario. So, hey, I'm putting on a client appreciation invite for a happy hour for all my clients and referral partners. I'd love to send you an invitation. Where should I send the invite? Get whatever info you need out of them right there. And then send a follow-up text if you have to send that voicemail. Then send a text, because you'd leave the voicemail would be the same script. And you're going to send a text that mirrors your voicemail, asking for their info so that you can send them the invite. Use this to get whatever info you're missing. That's your goal for people whose info you don't yet have. And then once they're there, make relevant offers. And I've got copies of this in the template as well, of this postcard for you. We created it as a postcard. You could print it as a flyer. It doesn't matter. But there's a couple of great things happening here in terms of positioning. So throwing the event in the first place positions you as the kind of person who could throw an event. You've got enough money to do it, even though this doesn't cost much money. It sounds good. And you've got some people who would come to an event. That all positions you in a really strong way. Additionally, showing up with something professional like this, these are not expensive to print. You can print them on Vistaprint for like, 20 cents a postcard or something. And the offers here you're making are going to be relative to where these people are at in their life. And so you've got 3 offers. I just put them all on the same postcard. And the first offer is to renters. So people who are renting. Most people who are renting are thinking in terms of dollars per month. And so I made an offer that speaks that language. Hey, the average homeowner's net worth is 80 times that of renters. Get my free list of the best homes in San Diego under $3,000 a month by scanning the code. Start your journey to homeownership today. You're just trying to get renters to start thinking about being homeowners. And so your conversation with them might be about a 0 down payment program you're aware of, or, hey, did you know you could get the funds gifted? Did you know that there's a lot of homes under you're paying $3,000 a month in rent? You're offering something of value to them. Like, hey, would you rather not be paying your landlord's bills? That kind of thing. So, hey, if you'd like, I can put together a list of the best homes under $3,000 in the area you like. You just scan this code. What the code does is it pulls up and I've got this all in the template as well. It pulls up a text message. So the person scans the code on their phone. It pulls up their SMS app and sends a text message to you. And I show you how to do that in the template. It's real simple. And the text message just says something like, hey, I'd like the list of homes under $3,000 a month. And so you don't need to set up a landing page, none of that. This is just them sending you a text message, basically. Okay, for homeowners, get a monthly custom update of your home value from me each month for free. That program is called HomeBot. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but this would send you a text saying, hey, add me to the monthly home value. And then buyers, beat out of the buyer, if these people are like actively buying, beat out of their buyers to the best new listings by using my custom home search site. Now that could be MLS, if you have Ylopa or whatever, it could be that. Again, this is just going to pull up a text message. You're just trying to shake the tree a little bit with all these people. So hey, thanks so much for coming. First drink's on me. Here's your ticket. Let them get a drink. Then you walk over to the house. Hey, I just put together these offers for folks who are in different stages of their kind of home ownership life, So if you don't know, you could ask, hey, do you currently own your home? Are you renting? You whatever? And you just kind of walk through the crowd and figure out where people are at and then make the appropriate offer. And again, this positions you in a really strong way because you're coming from a place of contribution. All these are offers, things that can help them. And then on the back side, we have a charity we support called Baja Bound, where we build houses. And the pictures there before and after of these people were living in a tent, and we built them a house, brand new house. And so if we offer as part of our offerings, we say, hey, listen, thank you for the referrals that you send. They're really changing lives. In fact, we built 3 houses last year for people who didn't have homes, and a large portion of that money came from our clients. Every percentage of every commission goes towards building houses for people who don't have homes. So thank you for your support. Again, this is much better positioning than begging people for referrals. You're reminding them of how their referrals are actually changing other people's lives, not just yours. So really strong postcard here. And again, that's in the template. And we'll talk through HomeBot here, which is one of those offers in just a minute. Now, referral language. Here's how I suggest you ask for referrals. The classic example, I'm never too busy for your referrals, to me is, I don't know. I just don't love it. I think this is better because it comes from a stronger place in terms of positioning. So the way I like to talk about it is anytime someone wants to ask you a question about real estate at all, how's the market, how's work, how's life, you can turn almost any question into this answer, which is, I have a buyer who, or I have a seller who. Present something that you currently have that you have a need for. So I have a buyer, and be specific. So a buyer in North Park, San Diego, looking to get an awesome couple, super fun, trying to buy their first house, looking for something under 900. There's just not a lot of inventory out there. I think they might be open to some other areas too, but we're having a heck of a time finding them a property. Do you happen to know anybody in that general area who might be looking to sell a house under $1 million? That is a great, great way to ask for a referral because it makes sense in terms of the conversation. It shows that you have a buyer, so it positions you in a really strong way, and that you're working hard for that buyer. In fact, you're wandering around at parties asking people for homes to buy so this buyer can be helped out. And it's a real easy question for people to answer. It doesn't put them on the spot, right? Most of the time, they're going to go, no, right? They don't know someone looking to sell $1 million house in North Park. That's fine. Your next question will be, okay, got it. Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you be comfortable keeping me in mind if you do happen to know anyone who's looking to sell a home, not just in North Park, but really anywhere? Would you be comfortable referring that person to me as their real estate agent? This is a way of sifting and sorting. Does their grandma sell houses? Does their, if you don't already know that you're their person, this is a great way to find out. And they'll tell you. I mean, they'll be honest. If they got somebody else who they're going to work with, they'll say, no, sorry, Aunt Susie's my go-to person, and now you know. Now you know where they're at, and maybe they're not on your list anymore because they're committed to somebody else, right? If you want to stay in touch with them, that's fine. But this is a great way to sift and sort where those people are at and to get a commitment from them of like, yeah, no, I'd be more than happy to refer them to you. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, would love that. Keep me in mind. And I appreciate the referrals. That's wonderful. In fact, we've got this great thing where, and you could mention the Mexico thing or whatever your version of that is. You don't have to, do that. You could, whatever charity you're currently supporting, it's very easy for you to just tell the story of, hey, this charity that I support is partly supported by your referrals to me. Now, I would make sure the charity was pretty benign. Building houses for homeless people is a pretty easy, no one's going to be offended by that, right? I wouldn't make it your church. I wouldn't make it your political party. I would make it something that everyone can get behind, right? The other way to do this would say I'd have a seller who. So I have a seller who is coming on the market soon. I've got a listing coming soon. It's going to be in North Park, or it is in North Park. And I'm really wanting to find them a great buyer, someone who's going to love the house. It's affordable, it's a beautiful home. And so I'm really trying to find them kind of the perfect buyer. Do you happen to know anyone looking for a house for under $1 million in North Park, or looking for a 4-bedroom in North Park, or whatever? Be specific enough to where they actually can think about it. And same script, right? They're like, no, I don't. Okay, got it. Well, if you did know somebody, would you be comfortable referring to me, them to me as their realtor? And you see what they say. So I just like this language. And I say this all the time to people, friends, family members, all that stuff. I am constantly telling them stories of buyers and sellers and I'm not working directly with clients anymore, but my team is, and I refer all my leads to my team. So I say, hey, I've got a team member who's looking for this, that. My friends hear this constantly. So this is a great, great way. It does not get old. You can always tell some story of what's going on in the real estate market or whatever that you can relate to. Now, maybe you don't have a buyer looking right now. Well, let me push you a little bit on that. Do you have a buyer? You probably do. Your broker, your team leader, your friend who's an investor, there's somebody you know who for the right price would buy that house, right? So I don't think it's disingenuous at all to say, hey, I've got a buyer who's looking for a good deal in, pick a part of town where you're pretty confident you could get that house sold. Maybe it's to Open Door or OfferPad, or, one of these other companies that are buying homes, a flipper in town. Go get some relationships with these people and who are buyers who buy a lot of houses, investors, that kind of thing, so that you always have a buyer who's ready to go. So don't let limiting mindset keep you from using the script. It really does work for everybody. Okay, you can also leverage other people's events. You don't have to throw an event at all. You can use someone else's event. Here's a couple examples of how we've done that. This was a gym that my brother belonged to, and he was a real estate agent on my team for a while. And they were putting on a, fitness contest of some kind. And he told me about it, and I said, but let's sponsor it. Great. And so we made up some cool shirts. Shirts are 10 or 12. So it's not totally free, but you don't necessarily have to go as big as we go, right? It doesn't have to be t-shirts and all that. It can be really simple. But I like the t-shirts a lot because they're about $10 each for decent t-shirts. And then everyone at the gym will be wearing those shirts to work out in, and you become the go-to realtor. Because maybe there's 10 realtors in that gym, but you're the one who gave everybody the shirts. Right? So I love shirts for these events. If you were only going to do one thing in terms of expenses, I would do shirts. And $10 a shirt, not that crazy. Just make sure they're good ones. Make your logo look cool. Like, this isn't our formal Gluch Group logo. It's just a cool looking Arizona flag with our name on there, and they're comfy workout shirts, right? And now that gym, everybody at that gym knows Kevin's the guy to go to for real estate business. Yeah, we also, as I mentioned, do our house building trips in Mexico. We don't organize all that. That's a company called Baja Bound. In fact, you're welcome to join me on those. If you're interested in these, you can check out, I think there's a link on here. Yeah, gluchgroup.com/Baja. Sign up on my interest list. You can leverage my event and bring your people. That's out of San Diego. We drive about 2 hours outside of San Diego to go to build these houses every year. And we'll take as many people as we can get on those things. And the more people we get, the more houses we build. We built 3 last year. And it takes no energy for me to organize this because the Baja Bound people organize the whole thing. All I got to do is fill up the bus, get people there. And so this is a great way to leverage their event to invite people. Most of the people I invite to come on this trip do not come. 99% of people are too busy or they just don't care, right? It doesn't matter. The fact that I'm inviting them positions me as the kind of person who supports these kind of charities, which is a really good position to take. You're a charitable human being. It's a way to tie business to charity, and it's a way to have a touch for them, a touch point of like, hey, come with me. So anything you're doing that is charitable in nature, where there's some time and energy involved that people could come with you to do, you should be inviting people. Again, I would probably not tie it to something that's divisive, but this is a great method for getting a touch point with your clients. And if they come, even better. All right, so this is Daniel. He's a member of the Gluch Club. Gluch Club is our coaching program that we have. And this was what his experience has been. I was brand new and didn't know what a database was. In 18 months, I went from 0 to more than 200 people on my list, and I've already closed $2.5 million in sales from that list. Daniel's amazing. He's an incredible implementer. Like, I told him to do this stuff, and he did it. And it is amazing how, if you just put a little time and energy into this, he was a police officer a year and a half ago. And now he's selling houses, doing really well. $2.5 million was just Sphere. He actually did $10 million on other business too, open houses, all kind of stuff, right? So this is stuff that can absolutely work for new people. It's a great way to grow your list. Now you got your list. How do you further position yourself as the unquestionable go-to expert, the trusted advisor. Well, we've got a 24 touch system that we use that's very inexpensive and super simple to set up, and I'll walk you through exactly what we do. So first of all, HomeBot. HomeBot is a spectacular system, and it is a great, great, inexpensive way to stay in front of your clients. This is what it looks like. This is the email you can see there. Hey, John, your home value is ready. Once I get that email every month from my own HomeBot, I click in there. This is a rental house I have in Phoenix, and it opens up and it tells me what my home is worth. Oh, look at this. It's worth 44% more than when you bought it. And here's the equity you have, and here's what the price is doing. And you can tune it. You can see there it says tune value. So you don't have to worry about if this value is exactly correct, because they can always change the value. So it's a great monthly way to let people know what their home is worth. Now, they have a buyer and a seller email. Let me show you how those work. 30-day performance for my list of people. So homeowners, I've got 1,282 people in there. You don't need that many people, right? I mean, 5, 10, 20 people would be enough to make this worthwhile. 1,282 sent, 970 open, which is an insane email open rate, and 382 people click through to learn about their house. And on the back end of HomeBot, it shows you people who's actually looking at home value. You can see who's interested in that. Those people might be prospects for your seller list. And then there's a buyer program, and the buyer emails will send updates on neighborhoods they're interested in. So the open rate and the click-through rate is way lower on the buyer ones, which makes sense. The people who are getting info about their own house are going to be more interested and engaged in that information. But you can sign up buyers in this too, which would be anybody who might be interested in buying soon. So I cannot recommend HomeBot enough. I think it's like 25 or 30 bucks a month. I do have a code that will waive your sign up fee. I think it saves you 50 or 100 bucks. And I'll email that out to everybody who attended today, everyone on the RSVP list, because I don't have that handy, but I can get that sent to you guys in case you want to sign up for HomeBot. All right, so that's 12 touches every month. They're going to get a HomeBot email. Here's the next 12 touches. As I want something in their physical mailbox. I want them to have something in their hands every month that tells them I'm a real estate agent. And I don't want it to take a lot of time and energy for me to make it. I used to do newsletters a lot, and it just was so much time and energy that I stopped doing it. This is easy. It's called the world's most interesting postcard. On the front, it's this yellow factoid thing you can see there on the left. And it's just little, tidbits of information about what's going on in the world. It's, that's the idea. It's the world's most interesting information. And then on the back is some kind of offer, positioning you again as the expert. Hey, springtime's fixer-upper time. A quick note in case you hear someone talking about buying a fixer-upper. If you're starting to see signs of spring yet, well, one sign could be great fixer-upper setting the market. If you hear someone talking about how much they want to find a fix-up, call or text me at this number, and I'll get you a list of the best opportunities. They may be able to save a lot of money. You're positioning yourself as the person who knows about good deals, which is a great position to have, even if they don't have someone who fits this description. In fact, we almost never get text messages of people asking us for whatever it is we offered. But it's a reminder of that yellow postcard every month where they're like, the first one, they're like, oh, this is interesting. John sent me a postcard. Then the second month, oh, he sent me another. Third month, now it becomes a pattern. And it's a bright yellow reminder on the way to the trash can that you sell houses. And it's really, really that simple. And it's also a good positioning piece. And then we always have a little blurb in the orange there that says, hey, I'm working with a couple. They look super nice 4-bedroom. It shows like a model. Call if you know someone. So it's the same basic language as our referral ask. And so we send these out every single month. And here's some text messages that Claire, who's a Gluch Club member of ours as well. Again, that's our coaching program that I'll tell you a little bit about at the end. And she just sent me the other day all these text messages of her friends. And she's, young, like 24, right? Her friends they're not like old school, right? They're young. And they're stoked that every month, and they're sending her text messages. Hey, check it out. I got your postcard. This is great. That's the whole point. Like whether or not these people are buying a house that month or have somebody, you're not necessarily trying to get a referral because of the postcard. You're cementing in there. These people are busy. They got other crap to do. They're not thinking about you. But a couple times a month, they are thinking about you because they have to take your card to the trash, right? Or they open up your email and they get to learn a little bit about their home value. And these postcards are, I've gotten these from a guy named Dean Jackson, who does a great coaching program. And he provides the copywriting for these. And so I take them and we create individual ones for everybody who's in the Gluch Club for you. I have a great virtual assistant team. So all the people who are a part of our coaching program, we design these for you every single month and then send them off to everyone. And then they print them and send them to the group. So you don't even have to write them at all. It's taken care of for you 100%. If you're not a member of the Gluch Club coaching program, you could become a member of Dean's program and he prints these for you, or doesn't print them, but he designs them for you every month as well. So that's where the copy on these get, and there's 12 of them that rotate every year. So 2 good ways to get those postcards done for yourself. Okay, now, how can we further position you as the expert? Here's a hack that I love. Do a quarterly market update video. And real simple, like you don't have to overthink this. This can be very, very simple. 2-3 minutes, you could do it on your phone. And here's how you make it. Just copy someone else's. Look at some, you can check mine out on my on thegluchgroup.com. Or you can on Facebook, Instagram, all that. I'll also show you some examples in just a second of some other people who are members of the Gluch Club who've done a good job of this. And you can just get their basic info and do that. Now, also your board is probably sending you, you're probably getting some kind of email, some kind of notification of what's going on in the marketplace. In Arizona, we've got the Crawford report. In San Diego, we've got the Real report. So there's all these different ways of getting information. And you got to make it simple. Make this a 3-minute video that's really, really easy for people. Pick 1 or 2 things. If you're going to pick 2 things, I tend to pick pricing and inventory. Inventory shows you where prices are headed. Pricing will tell people where things have been, right? So make a really simple video and then what to do about the information. So, hey, here's what's happening with pricing. It's going up. Here's what's happening with inventory. Inventory is going down, which means pricing is actually going to keep going up. In fact, it's accelerating. It's getting more expensive by the day. That's what's currently happening now in the markets I serve. Now, what do they do with that information? At the end, you just tie a bow on it, make it simple for them. So what that means is if you're looking to buy a house in the next 6 months, you're better off buying it today than tomorrow. It will be more expensive tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be in 5 years. I don't know. I'm not a magician, but I can tell you in 3 months, 6 months, it's going to be costing you more. So I would get off the fence if you're a buyer. If you're a seller and you really need to sell, now's a great time because you're going to get a lot of money for your house. But if you're a seller who's on the fence, you're not urgent. There's no hurry. If I was you, I'd sit on your house. I wouldn't sell. You can't always say it's good to sell and buy for every certain, right? Like you have to be honest with people. In this environment, if you don't have to sell, you probably shouldn't, But if you do need to sell, some life circumstances caused you to want to sell, you're going to be happy with the results. It's going to go great for you. So tie it up with a little bow for them. You can also find a studio. Do this in a place that looks good. Like, do not do that. If it looks like you're in a hostel somewhere in, the middle of Germany and in some, podunk town, like, don't do it there. Like, find some place that has some decent background. And I would tap your vendors, your title companies, your lenders, find your broker. Somebody's got to have a studio near. If you're in San Diego or Phoenix, I can give you recommendations. I know places that have these studios where it looks really nice and they'll let you use it for free because they want your business or title company or whatever. Right. So you can do that. I make them in my home. I built my house to have a little wall behind me like I have here. So I do them at home, but you can do them at a title company or one of their studios that they have to offer. These do exist lots of places. And then where to send it. Here's a big tip. Send it on HomeBot. So HomeBot's going to automatically every month send people their HomeBot. You don't have to do anything except for add their names. You're good. But in HomeBot, you can go in there and upload your video and it'll send your video to your HomeBot list. And that's an awesome way to send it because the open rates are so high. So for sure, once a quarter, send that market video via HomeBot. Also post it on your social media channels, of course, and you can text it to your list. Another touch point. Hey, just put together this market update. Thought you might be interested. Hope everything's great. Shoot it over to them. So now you've got those 4 more touch points. So you've got your 12 World's Most Interesting Postcard, your 12 HomeBot, and you've got your 4 market updates, right? And that's assuming you didn't do any events. If you do events, there's more touch points. So now you're in the 30, 40 touches a year range, which those people are going to know you're the realtor of choice and they're going to know you know your stuff because the things you're sending them are very professional in nature. The hard thing I had a hard time getting my mind around was why I was showing up at people's houses with like bottles of ketchup and light bulbs and stuff. And I get it. I mean, I know there's a lot of big Brian Feeney fans and I am too. He's a wonderful human being. This just fit my personality better. I wanted to be positioned as the absolute expert, and this stuff has really done a good job of that for me. You can also tease this for your leads. I would not send this to people who are not responsive. So you do a market update. I would tease that to people who are cold prospects, people who've gone cold on you. I would say something like, hey, I just put together a market update. I think you'll be surprised by what's happening. Would you like me to send it to you? You're just trying to get a response out of them. I would tease it instead of sending it. And then High Note, if you know what High Note is, that's a great pre-selling tool. You can learn more about that at johngluch.com/High Note. And I would put it in your High Notes. I'm not going to talk a bunch about High Note today, but that is a great resource as well where you can put these videos. Okay, here's some examples of some Gluch Club members who are doing these updates. So Billy O'Keefe out in Vegas does 150 deals a year, something like that, and he does it on Loom. And so he's just super simple, sharing his screen. This is probably too much data. If I was giving him some feedback, probably a little too much on the data side. But Loom is a free online software that will allow you to share your screen while you talk. And that's a great resource for you. Chris in San Diego does a great job here, and he just uses webcam, films his videos, and he just set up a nice little area in his house to do this. Eva's up in Pasadena, another Gluch Club member, and she is spectacular at this. She would be a great person to follow. Does a really, really good job of creating very consistent content for her clients. She's good, in fact, way better than me at this. So she'd be a great person to check out as well. So some good examples there of what those updates can look like. Okay, so a quick recap of how far we've gotten so far. Now you've got a growing list of 100 plus people who know, like, and trust you. You've got an automated at least 28 touch system, reminding them that you sell homes, and then an authentic system for coming from contribution to sift and sort your list, to figure out, do they have a realtor or do they not have a realtor? So this will be a gigantic help in building out your referral business. Now, I want to remind you, this is just one element of the Rainmaker skills. The Rainmaker skills, remember, are prospecting, writing and negotiating deals, and signing up buyers and sellers. Each of those are really, really critically important. And I've talked today about one element of prospecting, so the sphere element of prospecting. And hopefully you've gotten some great examples, but what I've been sharing today is just an open window into a much more comprehensive system of coaching we have within the Gluch Club, which is my coaching program that teaches you all the Rainmaker skills and all the elements of prospecting. And in fact, we have, starting this week, a 90-day sales challenge. And so this is hosted within the Gluch Club, which is that coaching program. And within the club, all the members of the club can participate in our sales challenge. And this is a week-by-week sales course designed to help you improve and implement the Rainmaker skills required to close 2 more escrows per month in this challenging market. Let me walk you through what the coaching looks like. I'd love to invite you to join us in this challenge. So let me walk you through what the challenge looks like, and I'll share what the investment is to be a part of the challenge. Weeks 1 through 5 are about prospecting. So leveraging and growing your spheres, week 1, that's the content you just heard. So that is what I will be teaching week 1, which is this week, which is Thursday. I'll add some nuance to it, and I'll also do a couple of things I didn't share today, but in general, it's going to be that kind of content. So each week will be a week just like this. It's going to be, it ends up being 14 weeks of content just like this, covering these different topics. So the week after that will be open houses. Open house is a very underutilized skill that many people are doing wrong, that we've used to great success with our coaching members. And then scripting. So we've got one script that we use for all the different types of leads we have, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to go through that script. I'm going to walk everybody through exactly how to use it for all the different kinds of leads that you have, how to handle objections, what to do on the phones. At some point, to really grow your business, you're going to have to work with people who aren't your best friends, right? You're going to have to learn how to work with strangers, and we'll teach you how to do that really, really well. And also scripting for prospects. Getting unmotivated and cold leads off the fence. So the people who have kind of ghosted you, how do you get them back in the game? And then finding and leveraging off-market buyers and sellers to get more deals. So that's a big part of our process. Is if we got a buyer who wants a house and we can't find them a house, how do we go out and drum up business, get sellers who are not currently in the marketplace to raise their hands so that we can sell their house to this buyer? Now we double in the deal. So that's a big, big element of what we do. And that is the prospecting element. So that's week 1 through 5. We're going to talk about prospecting, but then we're going to go through the rest of these Rainmaker skills, because prospecting is great, but what do you do once you get people ready to go? Once they're like, okay, great, let's get going. What do you do? Well, getting them signed up as a buyer or seller, and then actually getting them a deal are critical parts of the critical components, right? That doesn't just happen automatically. So we're going to walk through how to do that. Weeks 6 through 9, here are the topics we're going to cover. The Rainmaker skill will be signing up buyers and sellers. So week 6, we're going to talk about the complete buyer presentation, training and materials. So this is the buyer presentation that my team uses, that I created personally and spent months on. So it's all the training, all the materials, like everything you need to absolutely convince a buyer that they should sign up for you to be their real estate agent. The complete listing presentation. Everything we do in terms of training materials, the whole thing will be talked about on week 7. Week 9, we're going to talk about pre-selling. That's high note and some other materials. How do you pre-sell yourself so that when people show up, you show up for an appointment, they're sold. They think you're amazing. They're ready to go. And then next will be getting unmotivated and cold leads to take action. So these are people who they're talking to you, but they're just not buying. You have some of those people right now who they're kind of buyers or they're kind of sellers, but they're not doing anything, right? They're just not motivated. How do you get those people to go, okay, now's the time. I must buy. I must sell. We're going to talk about that as well. Then lastly, we'll be talking about writing and negotiating contracts. So our home selling system that gets buyers to write offers, because we learned early on, you can't just go show the houses. You have to have a real specific plan for helping people to eliminate non-options and execute on the houses that they should be buying. So we'll show you how to show a lot less houses. On average, we show people 6 houses before they buy one. So we've gotten very good at not wasting a lot of time with buyers. And then the perfect offer writing checklist. Once you find that house, how do you make sure you write the offer perfect? You get your contract accepted almost every time. We are really, really good at this. You do 500 home sales a year, you get pretty good at writing contracts. And then how to get 3% on every transaction. Commissions are going down, right? Everyone's offering less and less fees these days. We have systems that we've created to help make sure that you get 3% plus on every transaction. That's buy and sell side. And it's not hard. It's absolutely doable. It's just following a proven system that has worked for us many, many times. Next, we're going to talk about getting listings sold quickly and every time. Just because you get the listing doesn't mean it will sell. I know things are pretty hot right now, so it's not too hard. But we will walk you through what we do to get our listings sold. And then setting client expectations, avoiding cancellations. Once you got that deal in escrow, you don't want it to fall apart. So we walk you through exactly what you need to do in order to make sure that those escrow cancellations are kept at a minimum. This sales challenge is just part of the Gluch Club. The Gluch Club is a monthly membership club. It's a private virtual clubhouse designed to be your one-stop shop for coaching, resources, and community. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. It includes 3 things. Rainmaker coaching. That's what I just discussed. So every week there's a coaching call. Now for the next 90 days, I just showed you what the coaching calls will be. Beyond that 90 days, if you choose to continue to be a member of the club, which you can always cancel anytime, but if you choose to continue to be a member, every week I'm teaching new content or refining content, going through role playing, that kind of thing, on how to grow your business, right? So I talk about all kinds of stuff, marketing, all kinds of other things. For the next 90 days, we're focused on those Rainmaker skills, but then beyond that, the topics will evolve. And every single Thursday at 9 a.m., I am coaching the group. Second, you get access to our playbook, and that's what I'm going to talk about here. This is the playbook that I use for my team to sell, hundreds and hundreds of homes. So you're going to get a login to our John Gluch coaching site, and you'll also get a login to our Trainual. So this is every system, every process, every video, how our whole team runs, our tech platforms, our buyer training, our seller training, OSA. Anything you can think of is there. Down to the stuff that our brand new agents used when they onboard to learn how to get started. So every single bit of our back end system becomes available to you. So you get the actual playbook that I have created for my team, and you get unlimited access to that. In addition, all those training calls, we understand you're not going to make every training call, but we do record those training calls and put them in 2 different places. So the recorded calls are put in video format and transcribed in the Gluch Clubhouse, which is our virtual members only area. So you can search by topic within the Gluch Clubhouse. So we record all those things. And if, let's say I covered open houses last week and you missed it and you really want to learn about open houses, there's a search function where you can just jump in there, search open houses, and you'll see every training we've ever done on open houses. We also have a private podcast. This is only available to members. And all of these trainings that we're doing are put onto the podcast. Because I know you guys are out in the car, you're driving around, you're showing houses, whatever. You're spending all day doing this stuff. So I've created this podcast app. So just in your normal Apple podcast, you subscribe to it. It's free as long as you're a member of the club. And all of this new content is constantly put on your phone for you to rinse and repeat, to learn and to grow while you're just driving around town. Listen, when you go to and listening to a sports podcast or murder mysteries or whatever it is you do, that's all part of the Gluch Club training as well. Now, the third thing is elevated community, right? Nobody wants to do this alone. Everyone wants to have friends who they can walk the journey with and grow. Jim Rohn said famously that you're the average of the 5 people you're around the most. And I think a lot of us, if we're honest, and we look around the office at some of the places where we work, we're like, I don't know that these are my people, right? You want to find people who are doing big things, who are doing amazing things. And the Gluch Club is full of amazing real estate agents, hundreds of real estate agents, many of them doing gigantic numbers in terms of sales. And these are people that you now get access to in a new and unique way. And you do that a couple different ways. One is back to that Gluch Clubhouse, which is our virtual members only space. It's like a coaching website. And there's chat functionality there. You can DM people, you can ask questions, you can crowdsource answers within the group. So you can post in there and say, hey, listen, I'm having this struggle. I've got some challenges. Can someone help me? That's all available virtually within the Clubhouse. And then we do 2 live events every year. So this is the most recent one we did in San Diego. Typically, we tie a Gluch Club event to a bigger event. So there'll be a big event, like a real estate event with 1,000 people. And typically I'm speaking at those events. But then in addition to getting to go and just be a part of the event that has some great content, we will add on a day or 2 of content and community for our Gluch Club. So this is what we did. We went sailing on this 80-foot yacht. It was incredible. All around the San Diego harbor. I had everyone over to my home. We had an amazing lunch and a private mastermind in my home. And so we're doing these kinds of things. Our next event will very likely be in Las Vegas. So we are doing events throughout the year to help people get connected in person as well. Those events, there's no cost to them other than typically what I'll do is have people chip in for the food or whatever. So very low cost. We're not monetizing these events. These are all included as part of being a member of the club. So you get access to elevated community there as well. Now, to get full access to the Gluch Club and the 90-day challenge that I mentioned, you've got a couple options. One, you can become a member of my team. And members of my team pay upwards of $100,000 a year to be on my team, right? Because those team members are getting full access to me and all of our resources and that kind of thing. And they're getting leads and all this other stuff, and they pay a split for that. And so our team members are paying upwards of $100,000 a year to get access to the Gluch Club, the other things we do on the team. So that's one way to do it. Or one-on-one coaching with me, you could get this access to. I do have one-on-one coaching availability, but it's not cheap. So it's $3,000 an hour to get access to that. And that is out of the question for most people. That's not something that they're able to spend. And so I wanted to create something that was accessible and like a no-brainer, something that was so easy to say yes to that anyone could do it, even brand new agents. So for $197 a month, you could become a member of the Gluch Club. All the stuff I explained, the resources, the training, all that stuff is $197 a month, and it renews every month, and you can cancel anytime, and you can save a little money paying if you want to pay all at once, right? So 197, that works out to $2,400 a year. So if you think what I've shared today can help you sell like 1/3 of a house extra this year, then you're money ahead, right? And I think that that's kind of a no-brainer, right? That there's certainly something I've shared today that'll help you sell a lot more than just one home a year. So the idea here is that this would be very, very approachable for people. To make it also even easier to say yes, you've got a love it guarantee. If you don't love it for any reason in the first 30 days with no questions asked, you can cancel. So you can go 29 days into this challenge, show up to 4 of the coaching calls, get all the resources, check out, you can go crazy. You can learn all the secrets, all the stuff. And on day 29, cancel, just send us an email and we'll send your money back. No questions asked. I want this to be something that you are thrilled to be a part of. That's an absolute no-brainer for you. And the love it or leave it guarantee makes sure that is the case. What else do I get? Well, here's what else you get as a member of the Gluch Club. You get free lifetime access to the Productive Agent Daily Success Blueprint course. This is a course that I created. It's a $300 course, and it teaches you how to manage your time, how to prioritize those rainmaker activities. You get free access to that for a lifetime. You get 14 weeks of coaching from me on the rainmaker skills. So that's during the challenge. And then of course you can continue on with the Gluch Club. I think you're going to love it and want to stick around, and you'll see what we do next after that 90 days, the continued coaching that I get. So you get weekly coaching. And then a Q&A session. So every week after the Rainmaker coaching, I do Q&A, and I'll answer as many questions as people have. As long as we need to stay on, we'll stay on. And they could be about any topic you want it to be about. So Q&As every single week as well, live on Zoom. And then private digital space within the Gluch Clubhouse, as I shared with you, and other challenge members to take tips, hold each other accountable, ask questions, that kind of thing. Call recording access. We record all those calls on Zoom, as I mentioned, and those get posted on the podcast as well. And then all the digital related topics, right? So buyer books, scripts, PowerPoints, all the different stuff we use that we teach you on in that Rainmaker coaching. You're going to get the resources digitally for those as well. And you don't have to just take it from me, just take my word for it. A couple of testimonies here from amazing members of the Gluch Club. Dan Portillo, since joining the Gluch Club, my sales volumes increased, conversion rates have gotten better, and I have added new lead generation sources. And week after week, I continue to get so many valuable strategies and growth, et cetera. Missy Snidegar. So these are agents who are doing really well. These two agents in particular sell a lot of houses, and they've really improved their business, grown a ton. I mentioned Daniel before. He was brand new. Was a police officer up until about a year and a half ago, and has absolutely been crushing it. Learned a ton from us. Carlos, another agent in San Diego who joined the Gluch Clubs, had great results there. And a couple bonuses for you guys. A couple things that those of you who've stuck around to the end here, thank you for that. And after I lay these out, we'll do some Q&A as well for anyone who has questions. Bonuses. Number one, as I mentioned, you get access to the Productive Agent Blueprint course. So this is a full-blown digital course on how to manage your time, how to make sure, because it's one thing for me to teach you how to do the Rainmaker skills, how to be really good at prospecting your sphere, but how do you find the time to do all this stuff? This particular course is designed to help you maximize the amount of time that you spend growing your business. And so that course is included for a lifetime at no cost for you. All right. And for those of you who join before Sunday, so this is limited time. Both of these offers expire Sunday at midnight. And this is something that I debated on, but I decided, listen, I really want to help people as much as I possibly can. And so I've decided to offer 3 half-hour coaching sessions with me one-on-one for those of you who join before Sunday, who join the challenge. And these, again, I charge several $1,000s an hour for. And so this is a gigantic bonus. I don't do a lot of one-on-one coaching because I want to help as many people as possible. And one-on-one is very limited in the way I can scale it. But I wanted to give you 3 one-on-one coaching sessions to make sure that you really have this dialed in your business. And so for those of you who join before Sunday, and I would encourage you to join as soon as possible. The first meeting we have is Thursday. We'd love to have you on that meeting. Let's get you up and running. And so this is available as a bonus as well to those of you who are ready to get started on the Gluch Club. So for those of you interested in joining, let me share with you on the screen here the link